Welcome to HeritageQuest Helper Part 4, Revolutionary War Pension Files. To use the pension files from the main HeritageQuest search page, simply scroll down and choose Search Revolutionary War. Pension files are usually rich in genealogical detail. When Revolutionary War veterans or their dependents applied for a pension, they were required to prove military service and their identity through supporting documentation. Records that may be found in pension files include, but are not limited to, narratives of events during service, marriage certificates, birth certificates, death certificates, pages from family Bibles, family letters, depositions of witnesses, and affidavits. A good way to start searching these is simply by putting in the person's name that you want to search for. Usually it would be the soldier's name, but you could also put in the spouse's name if you think they might have applied for a widow's pension, if the spouse died before their wife. If you have a very common name, you could input where they lived, you could input a location of their military service, you could also put a spouse's name in the keyword field. I'm going to just search for this person's name, Samuel Munson. Click View Record. Here you can see that his wife Martha Munson is listed, that she did apply for a widow's pension. To view the record, click View. Here we see the widow's pension file number, that his service was in Connecticut, and that Martha must have applied for the pension when she lived in Pennsylvania. And then you can just scroll through the images. For these records, there are something called selected records and non-selected records. Selected records will come up first. What happened is these files can be very big. They can be like 100 pages long. So because they were very popular and because the National Archives was getting many genealogy requests, they decided to microfilm the most genealogically relevant pages from the file separately in what they called the selected records. So first you'll come to the selected records, and then after you scroll through all the selected records, you'll get the non-selected records, which is the entire file. You want to make sure you look through the entire file because you never know what might be important to your research. So you just use the arrow to go through the file. These files can be quite fascinating. You may even find near the end of the file that one of your relatives might have written to the National Archives, and that letter will be included with the file. One of the things that I mentioned you might find in these records are Bible records. Family members had to prove their relationship to the military servicemen, and one of the ways that they could do that was through Bible records. So they would actually tear out a page from a Bible and send it in. So I'm just going to zoom in so you can see a little bit. So you can see, Samuel and his wife Martha, and then when they were married, and it gives their children's names. Here you can see they also gave the first page of the Bible record. This is an affidavit from Mr. Munson. One of the great things that's listed here is where he was born. It says he was born at Farmington in Hartford County, Connecticut, the 9th day of July, 1762. So that is wonderful because getting dates of birth and locations of birth for this time frame can be difficult. This shows some details of his military service. It tells some of the different captains that he served under and how many months he served under them. Here's an affidavit of Mrs. Munson, and it says that when she married Samuel on the 3rd day of February, 1784, And it also lists his death date, that he died on the 27th day of February, 1841, at the town of Portland, which is in Chautauqua County, New York. The last thing I'll show you from this file is an affidavit by Mrs. Munson's sister, Hannah Hamlin of Saratoga County, New York. And she is testifying to the fact that she saw their marriage happen. So she's a witness to their marriage, helping to prove the relationship of Martha to Samuel so that Martha can get the pension. If you're having trouble finding your ancestor in these records by keyword searching, you can browse them. Over to the right, you can choose the first letter of your ancestor's surname. Then you can choose the name range. And then you can choose a particular person's file. And you can browse through them just like we did the other files. Thank you for joining us for Searching for Revolutionary War Pension Files.